All right, so I'm getting some radio stuff set up at the house and run into a little bit of a dilemma. It's a dilemma I've had for a long time doing ham radio stuff, but now I have multiple pieces of coax that I need to run from inside the house to the outside the house, both for ham radio, receiver stuff, Lowrance related product that I'm going to be designing. Lots of coax that has to go from inside the house to outside the house. I don't want it to be ugly, don't want to destroy the side of the house or anything like that. It has to be lightning protected as well, as then which means I have to have it grounded before it comes into the house, and it gets a little tricky doing that. So not only is grounding it outside the house going to help with lightning protection, but it's also going to pull a lot of static and stuff off the line. So on the receive side, you get clear signals, and that's always a good thing. So let me run this through you guys really quick. So coax cable, you guys have probably seen it before. It comes in all sorts of different shapes and sizes and different kinds of connectors. You'll see it maybe on the back of your Wi-Fi router, or even plugging in an antenna in your car if you're still listening to the radio. You're not streaming on Spotify or Pandora like probably 99% of the world now. But you have these cables, and it's got to go from inside the house to outside the house. And I've been looking around for quite some time trying to find a waterproof, good, clean way to do this. And I found this company called Roxtec. And they have these devices that it's basically like this panel that has these foam inserts, and depending on the size of the cable you're going to run through, let's see, I can get a bigger picture of one in here. Basically, depending on the size of the cable you're going to run through the wall, you peel off these different layers of this foam, and it seals around the cable, and then you have a nice watertight connection around the cable, and you can mount this in a wall or whatever. So I'm going to be, I'll get into more detail, and this is going to be a very long-term solution. I don't plan on having to remove this at any time in the foreseeable future. So this is going to be a long-term installation. But you basically put a hole in the wall that allows for these cables to get into the wall, and then it'll go up the wall and then have a cable pass through, and I'll get into that later. That goes into the radio right on the other side of the wall. So the problem with only using this on the wall is that these coax cables have a minimum bend radius. You don't want to kink this stuff. It impedes performance, and this stuff isn't cheap, especially the big stuff, like the stuff they use on microwave or like cell towers and that kind of thing. So you need to be, and being that you're trying to be careful to not bend that, you don't want to have, let's say your cable coming straight in the wall and then having to, let's say it pops out the wall from inside and it has to bend like down at a 90-degree angle to go to your ground rod. It's got to get grounded and then up to your antenna. So you don't want to have those sharp bends. So what I'm thinking about doing here is building a piece that allows this to mount at an angle on the wall, so it doesn't have to kink going coming out of the wall, or when you feed it into the wall, it doesn't go in and then up next to the studs, and you know, just trying to eliminate those bends. So I loaded up some file. They had a file on their website here somewhere. Anyways, a 3D file, and I'm going to start designing some stuff, hopefully knock this out tonight, and hopefully weld one up and get this thing working in the next week or two. So stay tuned, and I'll show you some more details shortly. All right, so here's the Roxtec enclosure that I'm working with. In case you guys are wondering, this thing's not that big. It's only about 7 inches wide, so it's not, you know, not a huge, massive hole in the side of the wall. I mean, it's decent, but it's not, it's nothing crazy. The most important thing is that once this is all installed, it's going to be sealed with those foam inserts that I showed you in the last video. So I'm going to basically rotate this over. I'm going to tilt this so the front of this thing is facing the ground, if you can envision the wall vertically here. And then I'm going to build an adapter basically that will allow this to bolt to the wall with like a channel that will then allow the cable to go into the building. So I'm going to get started on that and follow up with you in a few. All right, so we got the Roxtec here, the side profile angled down. You know, it's basically just 30 degrees tilt it up basically from the ground, and just added in a flange here. You see that flange I added in? That will get laser cut out of a piece of steel, and then this piece is the main component here. So there's like a tube, basically a square tube, that allows the cables to pass through, and then this flange here will bolt directly to the side of the building, allowing the cables to get into the wall. So this will be sealed against the wall, and then there's a couple bolt holes in here, one on each corner. And I know this thing looks pretty big, but it's really not very big at all. I'll take some quick measurements here. This width here, 5.7 inches, and we're only at about, get this here, 4 inches tall. So not too big. I think so there you have it. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. We'll see how it comes together. I'm going to make a couple tweaks here just for extracting drawings, so we can actually cut these parts out, and then yeah, I'll get these parts cut out at laser and weld them up here pretty soon. I gotta wire up the welder though. Little hiccup, but I'll figure it out. Stay tuned. You might be wondering, what am I going to do on the inside of the wall? What's going on here? So here's a radio on my desk, and I'm just going to use this cable pass-through. Just pick this up on Amazon, and this is going to just end up coming straight through the wall, be mounted here, and that Roxtec is going to be on the other side of the same wall, but on the outside. So the cable will run inside the wall until it hits here, out here, up through my desk, and to my radio equipment. This is not the only radio. There's going to be a handful of radios here. This one's the fun one, but we've got some more serious stuff that's going to get hooked up here. So getting pretty excited. Finally looking forward to getting some long-term projects just put together. I've tinkered with some of this development kits on the 900 megahertz band and stuff like that a while back, and it's finally, I think, time to make some of this stuff become a reality. So yeah.